Okay folks, we're out for another night and we've got an in situ shot of an Anderson scream snake right down in here. It's going to be a bit tricky to see, but his body's just in there. He's moving around a little bit. Try and see if I can catch him popping out somewhere. But anyways, if you weren't able to see that, you'll have to take my word for it. We're at the start of a walk though, so plenty more chances to see some stuff. And maybe if this one pops back out really quick, we'll hop back on the video and show you. Okay, real quick, we've got a very small juvenile Anderson scream snake moving around right now. So, busy night for the scream snakes. This guy's a little bit far away, so I'm not going to jump down, but cool spot, quick and dirty filming. We'll pop back on if we find something else. Okay, we've got our first in situ spot of the night. This is a greater green snake. And it's a little bit up on a ledge here, so it's kind of hard for me to get in and give it the proper filming that it requires to demonstrate how pretty they are, but we've seen these quite a bit on the vlog, so I'm not sure that we have to get too much closer. But yeah, it's kind of cool. First real easy capture in situ. We actually saw a many-banded crate on the way up to where we are now, but it was crossing the road and it got off thankfully without getting hit. But yeah, we just started, so we'll keep walking and see if we can find something in addition to this cool little greater green. Alright everybody, just up the path from this greater green, we've got this pretty little male bamboo pit viper, and we can tell it's a male because it has this pretty distinct white stripe down the side, and we're definitely going to struggle to focus through these reeds, but you can still see it even though it's a little bit out of focus there. Very distinct white stripe down the body. And this one looks like it's heading down to try and find a place to set up for ambush. So, sorry for the choppy video, but we'll let it go ahead and get set up, and then maybe when we walk past, because I'm going to do a few passes around this area, maybe when we walk past again it'll be set up and we can get a better shot. Pretty cool though. Snake number 5 for the night. Okay everyone, we've got our first snake of the evening on this newest herp walk. This is a new species for the vlog. We found them before but never actually gotten them on camera. And this is a diamondback water snake. This is Cyanonatrix equifasciata. So they're actually a really cool natricine snake, a water snake. A little bit less common than the mountain water snake and some of the others we've seen on the videos before, but you can see here they've got some pretty spectacular markings, and they have these really cool reddish color heads. And yeah, just a really interesting species. They're kind of typical for water snakes. You know, these got very heavily keeled scales, very happy to musk and give you a little nip, maybe a little bit less than some of the other water snakes here. And you might be able to notice as the tongue is flicking, they actually have a two-tone tongue. The tips are actually white on these species. I've got some good photos of that, which maybe I'll insert here. But I've got to hang on to this one because they're actually very adept swimmers and they love to dive down. So when you come across them, it's kind of actually tough to get to them. They usually put themselves in branches above deep pools or rocks close to deep pools, and they'll jump right in and swim right to the bottom if you try and come for them. You can see here the ventral scales, the bands actually go around to the bottom there. They wrap all the way around, which is kind of cool. They break up a little bit in the middle, but pretty much wrap all around. And yeah, really great species. Very happy to be able to bring it to the vlog. So we're going to let this one get on its way, and we'll check back in if we find something else. Okay folks, we've got our next snake just a little ways up the path from the other one. This is a mock viper. We've seen a few of these in recent vlogs, so I won't stick on it too much. And this one's actually even very similar coloration to one we found in a previous vlog. Kind of a coppery body with bright yellow ventrals. But it's being very mock vipery and sleeping on a tree branch. So these are a rear-fanged, mildly venomous snake, harmless to humans, and quite spectacular. Just trying to get a better angle here. But yeah, this one's in strike position now. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone, so I don't want it to come off its branch. But cool second find. We will keep going and pop back on if we get something else. Alright everyone, out for another night. Been a little bit slow this week, but first significant herp of the evening, we've got a Hong Kong tokay gecko. This should be Gecko reevesii. Never sure how to pronounce that, but always a cool find. We've seen these before on the vlog, I think, so I won't spend too much time on it, but really fun species to come across here in Hong Kong. Definitely our biggest gecko species. And this one's actually not bad looking. Sometimes the reefs can be a little bit more plain, but pretty cool looking. Intact tail. And this is an in situ shot. This is how we found him. He's working his way to the back of the tree a little bit, but great find. We're going to keep at it. We got a few other targets to look for tonight, so we'll check back in if we find them. Alright, we've got our next herp of the evening. It's actually our third herp of the evening. We also saw a many-banded crate, but it was too quick to get off the path. And here we have another roosting greater green. You can see his head popping down below his body there. We've already seen a bunch of these recently, so I think we'll leave it at this, but another good spot. So far the walk's turning out okay. And we also actually just spotted a leopard cat, which is a very rare mammal here in Hong Kong, and my first. So that was really cool, but as a nocturnal mammal, it was definitely way too quick to get the camera out for. So anyways, good start. We're going to keep going, and we'll pop back in if we find anything else. Okay, we've got our next herp of the evening. This is a skink that was crossing the path, and none of us are complete skink experts, and there's a lot of skinks that look roughly similar here in Hong Kong, so I'm not going to be able to identify the species verbally to you here, but I'll see if I can confirm it and then put in a label. But yeah, these guys are pretty hard to catch, but he just happened to be out in the open enough for me to be able to grab him safely so that he didn't drop his tail or get injured. But we might take a few quick pics of him and then let him go. Pretty cool. We're about, I'd say, a little bit halfway maybe on our walk in terms of time tonight, so still a lot more to go. And we'll check back in if we find anything else. Alright folks, we've got our next snake of the night, and this is a Futsing's wolf snake. And we've talked about this before on the vlog. For those that are new, we have a highly toxic species of snake in Hong Kong called the many-banded crate. That's also this kind of black and white banding, but there's a couple of key differences, and the number one of which is the vertebral scales. So on the Futsing's wolf snakes, the vertebral scales are actually all So yeah, as I was saying, the vertebral scales on the Futsings are all uniform with the rest of the scales on the body. You can see there, the scales that run right along the spine, they're the same size as the scales right next to them. And on the many-banded crate, those scales are enlarged. So you can kind of tell the difference between the species most accurately by using that determinant. Once you get familiar, there's also some morphological differences with respect to the banding. They're more jagged saddles like you see here with the Futsings, whereas the many-bandeds are a bit more uniform. But that's not a great way to try and determine the difference, because there's a lot of variability between the species and within species with respect to the markings. So this is found alongside a riverbed, which is a pretty common place to encounter these guys. And so far this one's been relatively well behaved. They're usually very bitey. This one just trying to get away and get a meal, which I'm going to let him do in just a second here. But wanted to make sure that we stopped and showed you this. And we're going to head back now. So we've got, we're halfway done. We're going to walk out the same way we came in, and hopefully we'll find a few more species. But been a pretty cool night so far. Some things we didn't get on camera were pretty awesome, like that leopard cat. And then happy that we were able to get some things like this Futsings for you. So we're going to let him go and check back in if we find something on the way out. A many-banded on retreat. That's all you guys get. Alright folks, we are just about done with the walk, and it looks like we get to end with a pretty cool tokay gecko. So this will close us off for tonight, and we will see you again later this week. Alright everyone, it's been a pretty good year for rare turtle species, and we've been out on a stream hike looking for snakes and came across this Beal's terrapin, or Beal's four-eyed turtle, walking along this rock bed. And this is super lucky because I'm going to be able to film it while it makes its way over these rocks, which normally these are in the streams and they're super rare, so we don't like to physically interact with them. It went in its shell as soon as I got close, and now it's starting to come out. But you'll be able to see, hopefully, when the head stretches out, why they call them four-eyed turtles. These are actually mountain stream dwellers, similar to the big-headed turtles we've had on previously. Oh, there you go. See those spots right on top of the eyes? Those are the four eye marks, and there's actually a couple sets of them. Oh my goodness, it's coming right by my feet. There's actually a couple of sets of them. There's the two big yellow ones, and then there's smaller, fainter ones just above the yellow ones, which would be a bit tricky to see, but maybe I can get some photos to put in here as well. And this is a very, very rare species of turtle here in Hong Kong. It's a local species. They're really spectacular. I'm surprised it's moving more towards the land than towards the water, which is a bit surprising to me. It had a straight shot at the water just now. I don't know much about the species, but I mean, they look like a river turtle a little bit, but also like they could be pretty decent on land. And this one seems to be going for the land, so quite interesting. But yeah, they're not a very big species. I think this is full grown, and I'm pretty sure this is a female based on the coloration, but you can see here, based on my hand size, it's actually not a very big turtle. And really actually quite gregarious. Look at those eye spots. Isn't that tremendous? Such a cool thing. You can see here, this is a good shot. Now you can actually see the eyes above and the eyes below. And I'm not sure there's any great theories as to why those exist. If anybody knows, you can go ahead and leave something in the comments. But such an interesting species. The shell looks really a lot like a combination between a waterlogged leaf and a river rock, so they must be quite good at concealing themselves. And they're not very big, so I imagine they could squeeze in between the rocks, though they do have a little bit more of a round shell than the big-headed turtles, which are actually quite flat and look like they would actually be even better at getting in between the rocks. So this is super lucky to be able to get it out like this. And look at that. What a great, great looking animal. So interesting. I actually think I don't want it to go too far off the river because I'm here if it's actually trying to be in the river. So I think we'll just film for another minute or two and then let it get back on its way. And like I said, they're an endangered species and they're quite hard to find, and I imagine they're also poached quite heavily here. So yeah, this is super exciting. Look at that sort of pink peach color throat. What an amazing turtle. Maybe we'll get another shot at those eyes. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, well, it's getting a little bit shy, so maybe we'll go ahead and leave it on its own. Give it some space and see if it doesn't move back into the river. And I'll try and maybe get some B-roll of that if it gives me enough time to shoot it before it disappears in the water. But really fantastic find. Super fun year for turtles for sure. And like I said, maybe if it's up here I can get some good pictures of it too, and when it runs down towards the water. But really cool. Beal's four-eyed turtle.